Hi everyone. So I've been busy working on my Parallel Universes video and it's almost done. And I didn't want to release it until after I did this because it's a very important video, so I didn't want it to be eclipsed by this this event with the Queen. And I didn't even hear about the Queen dying until about 5 hours after it happened, but I was kind of shocked, but kind of not shocked. I mean, you know that it happens by the numbers, and so I was like, well, what is the significance of September 8th? I don't understand. Why September 8th? And there have been a few people who have put out their codings and interpretations of what it means. Quite a few people have sent me messages about how she died 911 days after March 11th, 2020, the first day of the announcement of the coronavirus pandemic. So the crown virus is announced on 3/3 or March 11th, which is 33, and then 911 or 911 days later the Queen dies. The one thing that I did find odd about how her death was announced was that the Queen went into the hospital that morning. But what was really odd was that the media was reporting live on it for hours before she died, as if she was going to die. So I don't know if they were told by Buckingham Palace that it was touch and go or what, but it was announced at 6:30 sharp that she died, which and that's local time, so UK time, so that would be your 3/6.
Mary, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the flag at Buckingham Palace has been lowered, you see there, to half staff, and it is now official. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest-serving monarch of the United Kingdom, has died. She was 96 years old. You can see there not only that flag, but flags across the nation are being lowered now. She is surrounded by her family at her home in Balmoral Castle, and it was just days ago that we saw her welcoming the new British Prime Minister, Liz Truss.
Now this is when the Queen met Liz Truss. It was in the drawing room, and they had a kissing of hands, which just means a handshake. But this is 2 days before she died. She looks pretty healthy. 2 days later she dies is a little bit unusual, a little bit strange. So over her head is a clock, and there's a mirror, and then on either side, sort of like pillars, I guess you could say, roses. This clock on the mantle with the mirror reminds me of the clock in Alice in Wonderland. There's some X's on the fireplace behind them.
Queen Elizabeth II has died at age 96 years old. This is the breaking news at this moment. You see there the live image at Buckingham Palace. We know that really her entire family has really sped to Balmoral Castle to be with her. James, gives us a sense of the scale of this moment.
She was served by 15 British prime ministers, 14 U.S. presidents served during her reign, 7 popes. Queen Elizabeth has embodied the British stiff upper lip during more than 70 years on the throne.
So she died on September 8th, 2022, which is 9, 8, and 3 2s. So 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 is 2 7s. It was her 70th year of her reign, so there's another 7. So that's 3 7s. 7 7 7. 777 is heaven, heaven on earth. You got your 3 6s plus your 1 1 1 from the top of the pyramid, and that gives you your 777.
She is the leader, the epitome of so much stability. In Britain, in the United Kingdom, they are very much defined by who their leaders are. We think of the Victorian age, and today is the end of the second Elizabethan age And now a new age begins for the United Kingdom.
There's quite a few 96s. She died at age 96. It was 96 days, including June 5th, since her Jubilee ended. And she was born 1926, which is a 9, and died in 2022, which is a 6.
There's very few moments like this. It's like when JFK got shot and we heard he was dead, when there was a moon landing. This is a marker, and people will remember kind of what they were doing.
So they mentioned JFK and the moon landing, both of which were hoaxes. So they were sitting here for 3.5 hours watching, and they announced it live, which I find odd. Now Charles is crowned king, which Charles means free man or husband. And if you've noticed in my videos, there's been several instances of Charles or Carolina or free man or husband, and that's been a recurring code lately. So perhaps this is what it was foreshadowing and referencing. There's also been speculation that Charles may not stay king. And I'm starting to see some sort of foreshadowing of this, because it seems like there's a bit of a division between people who now support Charles after the whole, Diana Camilla thing, and then there's people who don't like Charles at all. But I think this is probably another course for division, because I've seen a few videos circulating on Twitter that have been anti-Charles, kind of pointing out, his sort of diva mentality, where he went to sign the proclamation that he would become king. He went to sign it. He's got quite the signature. Took up half the page, and William has a very tiny signature. And Camilla's signature seems to be pretty hefty as well. But Charles has got a pretty bold signature, which to me screams narcissist. And then he's sort of bossing about his attendance when they had the ink and pen on the front side, so he couldn't properly sign the document. They were in the way. So they were technically on the wrong place. They shouldn't have been there. And so he's trying to tell them, like, can you move this? But then he's like got gritted teeth. That's circulating. And then another one circulating is of Prince Andrew, who's already got a bad reputation in association with Epstein. And they were showing how he was comforting his daughter, who was tearing up while they were looking at flowers, and then he slid his hand down her backside, and so now that's circulating. And then there's all the controversy about Harry and Meghan and the antagonism between Meghan and Kate. Who's the bully? Is it racism? Well, Meghan is a narcissist. It's all drama stirred up by her, and it's a big old, puppet drama over on the royal side. So it could be that they are stirring up drama already to bring about the fall of the royal family in its entirety, or it could be that they're just bringing about potential abdication by Charles in favor of William. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but I am just saying that right now I see that there is some drama coming up already, and that these people love their drama. I also want to mention another event that happened on the same day. There was a shooting spree in Memphis, and I will show you why it's relevant.
A deadly attack on Memphis and a gunman now charged, leaving the terrified city on lockdown for hours. Police say the lone gunman live streaming parts of his shooting spree that stretched into the night, leaving at least 4 people dead and 3 more injured.
The shooting spree left 4 people dead, 3 people injured. There's your number 7. Memphis is a city in Egypt near the Delta. Delta was one of the CV variants. Delta is the door to open the FORNIX to reach the gold in the brain. Egypt is a metaphor for the body. The Golden Age began with the 4th dynasty, which seems to have furthered the primary role of Memphis as royal residence where rulers received the double crown, the divine manifestation of the unification of the 2 lands. This represents the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. So when you have a unification of your upper and lower self, you are whole, holy, united, crowned, anointed, kinged. This is the unification of the higher and lower, heaven and earth. Elizabeth was one crown is down, the other is raised. Charles is the other crown, the free man. So one is crowned, kinged, anointed, Christed. They keep saying Charles has been anointed. He's been kinged. 9/11, emergency. When the Kundalini rises up the 33 spine to the head in meditation, Delta, your third eye is open.
Police say 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly's rampage began in the early morning. The violence later continuing for nearly 5 hours across 8 different crime scenes.
Shooting continues for 5 hours across 8 counties. 5 is Venus, 8 is Reincarnation, Infinity Loop, Hourglass,
including this auto zone.
One of the locations was the auto zone, AZ, Arizona. The capital of Arizona is Phoenix. Phoenix is 322. Phoenix is the Skull and Bones. Auto zone is AZ. AZ is the beginning and the end of the alphabet, which is Alpha Omega. Auto is self. Self zone. Zone is geographical belt, celestial zone, or girdle. Girdle appeared in another decode I did, Olivia. It is derived from Ger, Gher, which is also a garden, Midgard, house, a court, or terpsichore. Olivia represented terpsichore.
Authorities warning the public to stay inside as they closed in on their suspect. Public transportation, including buses and trolley service, were also suspended. A minor league baseball game downtown called off.
Baseball is obviously a representation of the game of life.
The ballpark locked down for hours. NBC affiliate WMC's Joyce Peterson showing emotion that so many in Memphis were feeling.
Memphis is tired right now.
Eventually, police were finally able to corner and capture the suspect after he allegedly crashed a stolen car during a high-speed pursuit. Now, Kelly's behind bars, where the mayor says he should have been sooner. Court records show that a warrant for first-degree murder was issued Wednesday for Kelly.
The shooter's name was Ezekiel Kelly. Kelly means warrior, or bright-headed, shining one.
The reason for that warrant is unknown. He was also charged in 2020 with 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder when aged 17, and subsequently pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of aggravated assault.
If Mr. Kelly served his full 3-year sentence, he would still be in prison today, and 4 of our fellow citizens would still be alive.
Okay, this bugs me because the fact that he would still be in prison today if he served his full sentence is irrelevant. He has to come out sometime. His sentence was only 3 years. So at the end of 3 years, if he's going to do a shooting spree, he's going to do it then. Whether he does it then or now is irrelevant. He still came out of jail and did a shooting spree. You and I know this is a tragedy. I'm just arguing the point of this fact that they're making a big deal out of him being released early, and he should have stayed in prison. Well, what is he going to do? Stay in prison for the rest of his life? He served time. He came out for whatever reason. The system said, you gotta go. So he comes out and he does this. If he's gonna do it now, he was gonna do it when he comes out, anytime he comes out. So this point is stupid. And they make this point twice. This is what bugs me, because it's like they're pushing an agenda to say, well, once a criminal, always a criminal. And if you commit a crime, you should never get out of jail. You can't continue to punish someone for something that they did a long time ago. You need to rehabilitate them if you want to reintroduce them to society, and not expect something like this to happen when they are released, regardless of whether they served their full sentence or not. Obviously, the system doesn't work. If this was not a tragedy, right? We're just dealing with this as a hypothetical situation here. The logic isn't there. It's stupid logic.
11 months in prison and was released in March of this year. More violence in a city still reeling from the abduction and killing of mother and teacher Eliza Fletcher. Court documents revealed that suspect had a lengthy criminal record. He was released from prison in 2020. Memphis's mayor speaking out overnight to a suffering city.
This has been a painful week in our city, but I have hope for Memphis.
Jesse, police officers worked hard, they worked fast, but how were they able to locate the suspect so quickly?
Yeah, Hoda, police were already responding to these shootings, but they tell us when the suspect started live streaming, specifically talking about causing harm, someone reached out to authorities, and that is what ultimately triggered a citywide shelter-in-place warning. But it still took...
This guy is such a genius that he live streams his shooting spree, and somebody calls the cops on him. So is this advocating for potential live stream footage of cameras everywhere so that we can keep track of what's going on everywhere all the time? I wouldn't put it past him. I really wouldn't.
More than 2 hours after that to apprehend the suspect, because police tell us he kept carjacking different people, and that made it hard to track exactly where he was going.
You hear that? If you want to dodge being tracked, carjack people. Okay. Oh man, thanks for the tip, buddy. So I noticed there's a bullseye right here. Target, bullseye. So X on is XO. X is the X of the material world. She's got cubes on her shirt with X's. So you get the XX of the IXXI, the fabric of our reality, AutoZone, A to Z, and that is framed in the XX network web fabric of our reality, the A to Z, the AutoZone. Connected with the shooting story was the abduction and killing of a young woman named Eliza Fletcher. Fletcher means arrow maker from plume or feathers. 2 days before Queen Elizabeth died, she met with the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, whose name is Liz Truss. Liz and Eliza are both abbreviations of Elizabeth. Beth is house. Truss is the support for the roof of a house.
District of Memphis. She comes from a wealthy family that owns a hardware company worth billions, but she dedicated her life to her students as a kindergarten teacher.
She taught at an exclusive all-girls private school.
She was a teacher at St. Mary's Episcopal School. Liz Truss's first name is Mary. Queen Elizabeth's full name was Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor. The 8th of September is the date of the feast in celebration of the birth of the Virgin Mary. The day in some cultures is referred to as Victory Day. Victory is Nike. Nike is another code that has appeared in many other of my decodes, and victory is also Venus.
Hey, good morning, girls! She made touching videos that showed the special rapport she had with her young students and her dedication to teaching.
Old MacDonald had...
Do I have to say it? I mean, is it a little bit obvious? Do I really have to say it? Don't make me say it.
At a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
She's sitting in front of her fireplace. Fireplace is FORNIX. And there was also a picture of Elizabeth standing in front of a fireplace with the other Elizabeth. So 3 Elizabeths in front of a fireplace. Fireplace is FORNIX. She's singing Old MacDonald. MacDonald is son of Donald. And that means world might rule. So son of the world ruler. Son of the world ruler would have been Charles. Had a farm. Farm is the world, the zone, the park, the court. So the zone, the auto zone, is the court, is the park, is the world, is representative of the realm in which we live. So is the palace. The palace is the court, the royal court.
She was also the mother of 2 sons, aged 7 and 5. Because she came from a socially prominent family, her 2014 wedding was a big event in Memphis. A 9-page spread in Memphis magazine called the affair truly magical.
Her name is Eliza White. I know this looks like this was like drawn by hand for someone who's got like billions. This is a really cheap looking invitation. Her wedding is called Into the Woods. Into the Woods is what the name of the musical was.
Mother cannot guide you. Now you're on your own. Only me beside you. Still you're not alone.
Wait until my mother hears I've slain the giant.
Jack, there's something you need to know. It's about your mother.
What?
She didn't make it. And it came to pass, all that seemed wrong was now right. The witch succeeded in reversing her mother's curse. Cinderella finally stopped running from her prince. Jack was reunited with his beloved cow, and his mother could now dress in the best a golden egg could buy. And the baker and his wife were proud parents of a strapping baby boy.
Attention! Let us cheer the newlyweds!
And so, with the kingdom filled with joy, those who deserved to were destined to live happily ever.
Rapunzel! Attention, attention! Rapunzel! Let there be no panic! No panic! The wrong prince wishes to address his loyal subjects! Attention!
There is no need for worry. It was just an earthquake in a far quadrant of our kingdom. Nothing to fear at all. I will personally investigate the disturbance. Now everyone, back to your villages and on with your lives.
Spread in Memphis magazine called the affair truly magical. There has been...
It's truly magical because it never happened. This looks like it was cut out and superimposed onto the backdrop of a church image. I could be wrong. It could just be the quality of this image.
Been no other wedding like this in Memphis. The Fletcher family...
Who smiles like this? This is a very unusual way to smile.
Changed forever.
Hey, good morning, girls!
Cleotha Abston was arraigned today in Memphis.
Additional charges were filed this morning for murder, premeditated murder, and murder in perpetration of a kidnapping.
The victim, mother of 2, Eliza Fletcher, was an heiress to a billion-dollar hardware company.
She was an heiress. She was standing to inherit a billion-dollar hardware company. Charles also inherited a billion-dollar hardware company. Basically inheriting the right to rule over or guard over, to be wary of, to beware, to stand guard of the land over which he rules.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
She was filmed singing, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. We are here to shine. We are the shining ones, the ones who are awakened. It's time to shine."
Eliza was an accomplished marathon runner and often jogged before dawn before starting work. The beloved teacher left on her early morning jog about 4 a.m. and it was dark, much like this. She took her usual route along Central Avenue near the University of Memphis. Police say about 20 minutes into her run, an SUV pulled up ahead of her and waited for her to pass. Then he got out and violently forced her into his vehicle. But police say he left behind a key piece of evidence: his Champion slide sandals. Also found Eliza Fletcher's water bottle, like this.
Champion, there's your CC for 33.
Police say they traced Cleotha Abston through DNA found on the flip-flops left at the crime scene.
Come on, people. Who leaves flip-flops at a crime scene? Flip-flop is 96, 69. It's the yin-yang. This indicates that we are going through a change. Everything's about to flip-flop.
His brother told police he saw him washing the interior of his SUV and acting strangely at 7:30 a.m. that morning. On Sunday, Abston was captured near his home, but police say he refused to lead investigators to Eliza. The dramatic 4-day search came to a tragic end here. Eliza's body was found behind a vacant apartment. It's approximately 7 miles from the spot where she was abducted.
Her body was discovered on September 6th. 6/6, and September is your 9, so here's your 666.
Her abductor served 20 years in prison.
Her name is Jennifer Coffin Daffer. Coffin Daffer. I've never heard of anybody with a name like Coffin Daffer before.
For abducting her uncle's, a person that was in her uncle's law firm. That is a big coincidence. And in law enforcement, there are very few coincidences.